What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. We have a big week here in E7 with the Origin update finally arriving here. I think it was slated for the 10th, and that is now. So after maintenance, if there's maintenance, whatever, it's going to be arriving very soon. And not only that, we have the Arunka reveal. I'm pretty sure her character kit is coming out right after this summary. So we're going to go through this real quick. Thank you so much for tuning in. And then I can't wait to see the first impressions, first look at Arunka, who, by the way, guys, I know looks amazing. So many of y'all are excited for. I might have to skip, but we'll see what her kit is. And only because ML Arya is coming right after her, I believe, right? We saw it in the Origin video. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's go and check out what this 1 minute summary has in store for us. We have one of the new characters, the Helag Lance girl, Victorica. And I'm pretty sure her and the Crow kits were already fully revealed, right? We have the previews and kits for these two new Origin characters that are going to lead us into, I wanted to say the future, but it's more like leading us from the past, right? We're going back to the Origin story. And like it says, April 10th, guys. I still have a bunch of bookmarks. There's not a lot of mystics. So here we go. New episode, a Resolve UI renewal, which I think they showed pieces of this, right, in that big Origin update. The Ogre Armory looks very interesting, too. My gist of it was kind of more like a catch-up with the guaranteed gear. But we'll see more details on that. I'm sure the stove notes are going to have the full info for us. Operation Catch Zig. That's starting on the 14th, not on the 10th. Okay. And we have the 2025 Arena 2 season beginning. As for the balance adjustments, guys, we already know about these. We went over it the other week, but it's a big one with Martial Artist Ken, Fallen Cecilia, Spirit Eye Celine, Sylvan Sage Vivian. And then not only that, guys, I'm excited for things like Seaside Bologna, Lethe, of course. However, I think like the big standout units were like Lidica looks absolutely insane. A lot of them are going to combo with some of these new characters coming out, right? So stay tuned for that. I think it was a very good balance patch, all things considered. Wow, Spirit Eye Celine with an EE coming out here. Cool little gauntlet, the one she wears right there. And yeah, I think the buffs for her kit on the balance patch, some people, and myself included, it's not a straight buff, guys. They did take a few things away, like the self-cleanse. But overall, I think as long as you're okay with the, maybe not necessarily like re-gearing your Spirit Eye Celine, but just keep in mind that her strength gain is now going to be like more team utility based with the team cleanse, if I'm remembering correctly. So if you might have to like a slight playstyle difference, and I think like things like a buff to exclusive equipment, whatever stats she gets plus the bonus, it's going to end up like a net positive, right? Compared to where she was previously. And I think that's fine because I don't think this unit needs a ton. She's already received quite a lot. Let's see. Guard Captain Crow with a Vildred. Wait, what is this? I'm assuming they're going to be separate banners, right? Yeah. And then a DN, which is nice. This is a nice rerun in case you didn't pull for her on the last, limited group banner. She is absolutely a meta unit after those buffs you received previously. And here we go. We have the new Arunka, ML Arunka. We saw that. Oh, and her name is Boss Arunka. Okay, Mystic Summon rotation, guys. The 24th is at it here. So big Origin. A lot of stuff we previously already saw. But it seems like we'll be getting early the new arena season, the side story, the UI update, and then the Ogre's Armory alongside the new characters, right? And then Arunka on the 24th. Okay, guys, I'll see you over at the Boss Arunka preview. Alrighty, guys, I got the video loaded up for Boss Arunka. Let's go ahead and check this out together.
You the one who hurt my family?
Oh.
Someone needs to be made an example of.
That is not how I expected her to sound.
I'm gonna leave you fighting the dust.
The Akira.
Let's bet on who's faster, yeah?
Okay. She's kind of got that
Arunka of the
sassy voice.
Silent Expanse biker gang. If one were to single out an individual who embodies loyalty, it would be Arunka.
Okay, she's ride or
With her
die, huh?
majestic riding and fierce leadership, she has accrued many followers. One fateful day, she happened to protect Pera and her family from a group of delinquents. And since then, the two forged a bond deeper than blood. These days, Arunka has been noticeably worried about Pera ever since her departure. But now that she got word that the Sura are trying to hunt her sister down, Arunka is revved up for a vicious showdown.
Guys, and some people, let me know what you think in the comments. Some people really do not like, I think it's silly that she has this little like no biking stop sign here. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. She just ripped that out of the ground and used that as her weapon. All right, here we go. I think we'll take it from here. Boss Arunka. Oh my god, she is a knight. It's so funny on Twitch. I was asking what people thought her kit class might be. I did not think they were going to make a knight, but someone did point out, or I had a few people guess it 100% correct. I think one of my mods did, but not only that, guys, some people were saying that the fact that the last few units were, you know, maybe more cleave, speed-oriented, Parateyu, that Arunka was most likely going to be a tankier, maybe even turn 2 type character. I guess they were right, huh? So I was hoping that she wouldn't be a unit that I like, or at least wouldn't fit my playstyle, because, guys, my mystics are so low. I've pitied almost the last, like, 8 or so banners, no joke. But it looks like we might have to pull for Boss Arunka and somehow gather enough mystics for Arya as well. But anyways, enough yapping about that. Let's go ahead and see what her kit entails besides just the light knight. She's got defense imprint, attack self up. Okay. For the, sorry, did I say that incorrectly? Defense for her self imprint, team attack up. Skill introduction here. We have the skill 2 passive. Okay, Vanguard of the Silent Expanse. At the start of the battle and at the end of the turn, when the caster is in the front row, grants Ferocious stand for 1 turn, which does. Allies except for the bear cannot be selected as a target for attacks. Hold up. Undispel allies except for the bear. Oh my god. Wait, this is kind of insane. Allies except for the bear cannot be selected as a target for attack. So we have like is this, I'm assuming we can still hit units with AoE. We just can't target, right? So it's like, it's effectively like everybody has stealth. Your whole team has guiding light. Just maybe they don't take reduced damage. Don't forget, stealth also gives the reduced area of effect, AoE damage, right? So this is still insane though. The fact that we put her in the front and it's almost, guys, not only like a pseudo stealth for your team, but it's also just like an AoE provoke, right? Now, obviously, there are some exceptions, just like with the stealth I mentioned with AoE Provoke. You know, the enemy can still act. They'll still be able to press big skill 3s on Arunka, but there's a lot to this. This is actually very, very interesting from Smilegate to bring a unit out like this, almost like a true tank for once. After being attacked, increases combat readiness by 20%, which obviously synergizes really nicely with the Ferocious stand, because they're going to have to target her unless they have a ton of area of effect, right? AoE abilities that hit everybody on the team. I like this a lot, guys. This is my type of unit. I love playing the tank down style, and I think this is really, really cool. So we see here, does she already have an effect? Yeah, I think that's the icon, right? And while this is present, no one else can be attacked. What is this icon here with the little bombs? Okay. So we're just, I think they're just showcasing that everybody's going to be targeting her, and then she'll get some significant combat readiness, right? Yeah. Okay, so Coruscated Trajectory. Attacks the enemy at an incredible velocity, dispelling all buffs before inflicting decreased defense for 2 turns. Wait, attacks the enemy at an incredible velocity. Okay, so it's single target with a full strip. Full strip into 2-turn defense break, which is actually insane, as well as a increased defense and a barrier just for her. But that's fine, right? Because of the way the passive works, that's okay as well. Damage dealt and barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's defense. So we have a defense scaler that has self-defense up barrier, but also has a full strip into a 2-turn defense break. Now, keep in mind, guys, there is no like soul burn for ignore F-res. So depending on who we're targeting, if it's something that has maybe some effect resist, we might have to build this character, or some builds might have some effectiveness built in, just in case you want to make sure you can land this on, let's say, some knights, or maybe even some soul weavers that typically run lower F-res, right? Just something to keep in mind. I don't know what the build's going to be, and typically on defense scalers, we're going to be very tight on stats, so we might not be able to afford any effectiveness, but it is something to keep in mind. Overall, this is a very, very strong skill. Full strip, 2-turn defense break, self-defense up, barrier, and it also scales with her main thing. Defense is insane. So let's go and see the damage on this. I'm assuming it's not going to be too crazy because of how much utility is caked into this, both defensive and offensive. But here we go. This is the bike. That sign dragging on the ground. Really cool animation, honestly. Okay, so the damage was very negligible, right? 2,000. So the damage dealt part, typically we're going to expect not to do very much, but who knows? Maybe we can build her a certain way. They didn't crit here, right? Yeah. We have a 21,000 health Arunka, which is probably normal because we're going to be stacking so much defense. Typically on the defense scalers, what are the units like Karina and Euphine? That seems all right. That seems kind of in line if we're building heavy defense. The damage, though, is very, very underwhelming. But I mean, I think that's fine. She shouldn't do a lot of damage because it's a full strip and a 2-turn defense break, right? Okay, and then the S1, we have a taxi menu with a road sign and has a 60% chance with a 10, 15 increase. Wow, so defense break on S3 and S1, and then it can scale as well with defense. But like I keep saying, I don't think, well, at least in Smilegate's build, right? No crit. It seems like she's not really meant to do damage herself, but be more of a actual tank plus defense break. Dude, S1 defense breaks, guys, even if it's only 1 turn, is very, very significant. You just keep in mind, unlike 2-turn defense breaks, if you don't have anyone, depending on who you target, if that character takes a turn, obviously, they're going to get rid of that really quick. So you want to capitalize and maybe have a speed tune in mind so that Arunka defense breaks with S1 or S3, and then your team can follow up right after to capitalize on that. Soulburn can trigger a dual attack from the ally with the highest attack. Okay, that's kind of cool. So in case we need to add additional damage, think of it kind of like Roz's S2. SC Roz has a soul burn effect. Oh, sorry, you don't need a soul burn, but it does make it cooldown lower. His S2 has a chance to defense break and then also triggers a dual attack. So this is kind of similar. If we want to soul burn that, we can have a 75% chance to defense break for 1 turn that leads straight into a big hit. So that could be, she can on her own, even though she doesn't necessarily, if you don't build it for damage, may not do a ton. She has potential to finish off units with that soul burn. So really, really cool. Let's see the damage here. Let's see how it works. I'm assuming we're going to be pulling the Shuri here, right? Hey, guys, let me know. There might be like something I'm missing here with the bomb effect. Is that from... Is that his new kit? There's some characters I need to brush up on. But anyways, let's focus on the character at hand, the Arunka here. We have that S1 hit. Did we land the D-break? We did not. Okay. I'm assuming that's a Shuri ability because I don't recognize it. But anyways, I wish they showed the defense break actually landing, right? Isn't that kind of the... So she actually resisted it. So there's a chance, guys. This is actually not going to be that effective because we have things like effect resist, which could happen. We have 15%. Or if they're stacking effect resist, remember Ilanov's ability also gives some ER. On top of that, too, it's only 75% chance. So you have a lot of factors that can just stop this defense break from landing. So you don't always want to, and you know, your victory can't rely solely on that. But I think the odds are still decent. However, they didn't show us here. So pretty underwhelming in terms of damage, but we do at least proc. We have a seal of capture here, and we can get some burns on board with a 98-78 pop right from the Shuri. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's go and we'll watch the showcase together. Oh, wait. First, I always forget. Let's see the lobby animation. How good it is. What is this? She's reading some kind of comic book magazine. A biker magazine, maybe? Definitely doesn't look like a manga or something. And she's like yelling at it. A very cool animation. Obviously, she's there with her buddy, the lone wolf parrot. Guys, oh, man. I think I got to pull this character. I want to play more RTA this season with the Warlord frames. Got to start prepping, you know, just in case for things like E7 World Championship, E7 WC, in case I'm casting again. So I did want to play more RTA this upcoming season. And I think I'm really going to enjoy this character. I was hoping she'd be like a cleaver or at least something that I didn't enjoy. Because obviously based on looks, guys, let's be honest, one of the better looking characters to come out from Epic 7 in quite a minute. The only gripe I think is that some people... myself included, think she doesn't really look like Arunka, but hey, that's kind of just a lot of characters with their ML counterparts. But the kit plus the looks, I think I gotta try to get her. So I have until the 24th. I think I have 2,500 mystics right now to try and get her. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys pulling? Quickly recapping my thoughts on her kit, boys. I think she is very, very good. While she may not, I don't know if there's a build where we can incorporate some crit damage. Smilegate is showing us here a full-on tank build. Where we just, instead of trying to do damage, right, we use her as obviously the main tank because our other units can't be targeted. And then we have things like the defense breaks to sort of enable the rest of the squad here. So she's more of just like an actual true tank rather than, you know, these hybrid knights that do a ton of damage. That being said, though, unfortunately, we don't show the, you know, the defense break here, which may not matter much for Shuri with his debuff explosions. But for other units, right, I was hoping maybe we could see just something pop off with a defense break. I kind of mentioned like Ra's sort of ability where you land a defense break and dual attack. It can do some big damage. So I'm a huge fan of this kit, guys. I like this style of unit. I think she's the complete package between If you're a tanky style of player, you want to protect some backline squishies, and then you want some utility plus a good-looking unit. I think she's got it all. In terms of how strong I think she's going to be, I'm not sure quite yet, guys. And I only say that because the frenzy changes this RTA season have been very, very brutal in terms of the damage output. In terms of the debuffs and stuff landing, I'm not sure how that's going to affect Arunka. Is she going to be enough to tank the crazy amount of damage being put out? Because things like aggro and cleave are going to be very, very strong if the frenzy changes stay in effect. And if you didn't realize or didn't notice what the new changes are, not only we don't have time to go into all the details, but just there's 1500 attack being applied to not almost every unit now, so the damage output is going to be a lot higher this season. But yeah, regardless, guys, the kit, the looks, I got to pull. So, well, Smilegate, you did it. You got me to have to hustle and spend some mystics somehow. Quick edit, guys. Shout out to my boy Biako, who just reminded me that we will be getting, with the new update, a chance at getting a Rocket Punch ability, or artifact, I should say. So those of you that might have missed out on the Espa collab, which never got a rerun, you will have a chance here to get an artifact that was tailor-made for Arunka's kit, right? As you can see on the screen, the single target attack, scaling up defense, additional damage, I think will be amazing for Arunka. Although I think, guys, in the video they weren't actually rocking that, because there is like some damage pop, but I think that was from the dual attack pull with the Shuri. But instead, when you look at this S3, there was no additional proc. It's just a 2000 flat. So I'm not sure what artifact they were rocking, maybe a defensive artifact. But I think if we can survive mitigation, because obviously, you know, with most units only able to target Arunka, I'm not sure if we need a defensive artifact other than just building her super tanky. That's kind of caked into her S2 undispellable ability, right? You have to target her, and now instead we can rock something that gives her a little more extra damage, things to finish. That being said, though, the fact that she has defense breaks and the fact that she has a soul burn dual attack pull ability, you may not need to build damage regardless, so I'll definitely be trying different artifacts, different playstyles, different builds. But I just did want to throw this in here at the end. All right, guys, without further ado, we're going to wrap things up right there. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Hope you stopped by the live streams this week because of the big Origin update. And yeah, always appreciated. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.